Welcome back, boys and girls. We are continuing with The Great Escape, and I absolutely loved reading some of your graphic organizers yesterday. Your turkey is going on quite an adventure. Okay, so we are going to take a look at what we started yesterday. All of you should have turned this in with your character, setting, problem, solution, beginning, and 2 events completely done. Right? So let's start by reading the beginning, and we can finish our graphic organizer today. Sally is looking pretty plumped. Thanksgiving is going to be delicious this year, said Farmer Kyle into the phone. I can't wait until you and Mom come over for Thanksgiving Day. And I'm reading this, and I need to insert 4. Sally couldn't believe her ears. There's no way he was talking about her. Or was he? Sally had to get out of here. She tiptoed past the sleeping hound dog, grabbing a handful of corn on the way. She'll need a snack later. Then she scampered through the garden mums down the path toward the pasture. Where are you going? Bleated the goat. Can't talk now, cried Sally. She hopped the fence to the sheep pasture and dashed toward the other side as fast as her skinny legs would take her. She hopped the last fence and was gone. Wow, said the sheep. Bye, Sally. And notice here I put some quotation marks around bye, Sally, and I have the sheep said wow. I have quotation marks around wow. We're going to put that last quotation mark around that word. The sheep is kind of calling to her. So let's look at event 3, which we already talked about. Sally ran as fast as she could. When she came to the side of the road, she saw a truck with a smile. It was an Amazon truck. Well, if I can hop on that truck, I'll be somewhere in only 2 days' time. Sally thought to herself. When the driver wasn't looking, she hopped on. All right, so boys and girls, now we are working on that 3rd event, which I already read, and we're working on our ending. Okay, so our ending. The ride across town was a bumpy one. Sally had to dodge the driver and falling boxes for 2 days, but the thought of being Thanksgiving dinner was enough to keep her going. Finally, Sally arrived in the great big city. She jumped down from the back of the truck and looked around. Yes, thought Sally, I can make a life here just fine. All right, I have yes with quotation marks because Sally's talking to herself, and I'm going to put quotation marks around the other part of her talking to herself. I can make a life here just fine. She walked up and down the streets until she spotted Maya's vegetarian cuisine. She strutted inside and inquired about work. Maya, the owner, was only too happy to help out this fellow turkey after hearing the story. Sally started work in the morning and enjoys the big city life to this day. All right, so boys and girls, I want to point out a few things. This now is a full story. So when you are done today, go read it to an adult. Start at the beginning, start reading, read your next one, your 2nd event, your 3rd event, and your ending. And ask that adult if it makes sense. Now I want to point out, we've been talking about our rubric. Our rubric, the very first thing says focus and ideas. Tells a simple story, clear use of animal characters. That is what we are looking for. A simple story would be the turkey finds out at the beginning that they're going to be Thanksgiving dinner. And then there's 3 parts to your escape. And notice my parts are not complex. She sneaks past a hound, goes across the pasture or the field with the sheep in it, and hops on a delivery truck. Now, these events are detailed. I described them because I want the reader to have a picture in their head. but she only did 3 things, okay? And then the last part, she ends up in the city. Now, I don't tell any story about the city. I just tell you she ended up there, found a restaurant, and lives happily ever after. It's very simple. All my words come from describing and painting a picture in the reader's head. I'm not listing 50 things that my turkey did. All right? I'm just describing the 3 parts of her escape and where she ended up. That's it. We don't want a big complicated story. If your turkey does 50 things, you're going to get points knocked off because then it becomes too complex. It becomes hard to follow. All right? So make sure that your story is well organized, but it's very focused on the escape part. Okay? Organization. It's organization with clear sequence of events. Clear sequence of events. So first, your turkey should find out they're becoming Thanksgiving dinner. Next, the turkey goes somewhere on their escape. My turkey tiptoed past a hound. Then, another part of the escape, my turkey went across a field. Next, another part of the escape, mine ended up on an Amazon truck. And finally, the last part of your story, mine ended up in a city. So notice that as simple as it is, I'm still using a lot of descriptive detail, and I use some dialogue. The turkey says some things to make it more interesting and give me a thought into what the turkey's thinking. Now, review again. This, not a 4 paper. This has some organization to it, but it's not a 4. There's not enough description. Not enough happening for me to visualize this escape in my head. This would be a 4 paper. So today you're going to go in and you're going to finish your graphic organizer. Okay? You're going to make sure you have your characters, setting, problem, solution, a beginning, 3 events, and an ending to your story. And then I want you to go read it to an adult in your house and ask them if it makes sense. All right? That will help you out. So boys and girls, you are doing that today, and you are getting that turned in. Your teacher will read over them and give you any feedback. And happy writing!